Good evening, everyone. Sorry for that I'm a bit late. I wasn't busy in another session. I'm just going to give another 2 minutes for students to join and then we'll start. Okay, good evening, everyone. We can start. Thanks for joining the session. I hope you guys will find it beneficial. There's a few announcements that I just would like to make before we start. Number 5, guys, please join the voluntary WhatsApp group. We share information on there, notes, announcements. I think it will be beneficial if you guys are part of that group. Please take down that WhatsApp number. Send me your module code as well as your name. Please send both to me, please. Otherwise, I won't know who you are or what group to put you in, because this is not the only module that I facilitate. If you want to know what the other modules are, they are second tier financial accounting and second tier financial accounting and second and third tier management accounting. So if you want to inquire about the other modules, you can do so over that number as well. Just send me your module code and your name. Then one-on-one consultations has been launched by UNISA. You should have received an email directly from UNISA. Book your consultation. If you guys haven't received that session, that email, please send me a WhatsApp and I'll make sure that you get the link to that platform. How it will basically work, you will log in, you will log your query, I'll get back to you and we will correspond, and we will schedule a time that is best for the both of us. and we will have it will preferably be a Teams meeting, and we will discuss. And very important on the one-on-one consultations, you must be specific with what it is that you are struggling with. You can either present a specific question that you are struggling with and say you are unable to do the question, or you don't understand the principles being explained, but it must be it must be specific. It can't be something like you don't understand assets. If you guys get what I'm saying, be specific, because it will also assist me in preparing for that session, because we only have half an hour to an hour. So if I'm not well prepared in what your problem is, to be very specific, then it's a wasted opportunity. Then number 11 and 12, very important, guys. Please complete the attendance register that's attached in the comment section, as well as the session evaluation form. To please complete that at the end of the session. Just by a show of hands, or just show the hands if you don't want me to proceed. Did everyone get the WhatsApp number? I'm going to move away from the screen now, so if you don't have the WhatsApp number, you might have a problem getting it. Just ask me a bit later and I'll post it again, but please take down the number, make use of it. Okay, guys, let's start. Tonight we're going to be doing some questions. I just want to unshare quickly and put up the question. So we arranged this additional session to finish off property, plant and equipment mainly. There's an old exam question that I think is extremely good for us to do, because it focuses on disclosure, and disclosure is something that I feel we are not always paying the right level of attention, or a right level of attention on, and we are losing out on extremely easy marks that you're not supposed to be losing. If I talk disclosure, you guys must already know format. We are specifically referring to the format of the financial statements, and that is something that you must know off by heart. It is actually something that you can already start doing, almost like completing the skeleton of your answer, before you actually start adding the detail. So it's really important that you understand that exam technique. I always talk about exam technique. Exam technique is extremely important to get the maximum amount of marks. You always go to the required section first. These things you guys can make notes of. You always read the required section first. If the paper lands on your desk and you see it's question 2 and it's got how many marks or whatever, you go to the required section first. Then you note the dates. Dates are extremely important because you need to know what you need to do and for when do you need to do it. So that's the second tip. Read the required first, pay attention to the dates, what they want and for when they want it, because you're going to be presented with lots of information and dates to which that information is applicable. And if you didn't pay attention to the dates, then obviously you're going to select the wrong amounts for the wrong financial period. So very important, dates. Thirdly, the time. You must know how much time you have to complete this question. In accounting, if you leave one question out, it is already a recipe to fail, and we don't want that. So stick within your time. If that time is up, it's up. You move to the next question. You would have already received the maximum amount of marks that you would have gotten for the question in any given time frame. By the time your time is up. So move on to the next question and get that question's easy marks, instead of struggling with something that's only going to give you another 1 or 2 marks. So stick with your time. So go read the required first, pay attention to the dates, what they want for when they want it, pay attention to the time and read carefully. Very important. They are not saying stuff just for the sake of saying it. There's a reason why they are mentioning things. You must understand why they're mentioning it. Guys, then lastly, this is a participatory class. So the more you participate, the more you gain from the session. This session is not here for me. This session is here to provide you with the best opportunity to gain a deeper insight into accounting, especially mastering the skill of how to tackle a question, because that is important. We need to get that sorted before the exam. You need to know where to start with a specific question so that by the time you sit in the exam, already under exam stress and pressure, that you don't then struggle to think what should I do first, because then what happens, you start with one thing in the one way, then you go like, no, that's not right. You go and you try it another way, and then your answer is a multitude of half attempts. So it's important to do as many accounting questions as you can, because that will assist you in your structure, how you need to do your question. I'm going to be doing this question with you guys. I'm going to be doing it on Excel, and then I'll share it with you guys on the WhatsApp group. So that's also why it's very important to be on that WhatsApp group, because I'll be sharing it there. I'm closing the screen on which Teams, I can see who is on Teams. So if you have a question, please just unmute your mic and interrupt me. I promise you I will appreciate it if you guys participate. So I won't take offense there. Just for those that didn't take the number down, I'm posting it in the chat section because I want to close that presentation. Guys, please sign the attendance register. If you can't find it, please let me know. And also leave your student number in the chat section. WhatsApp number is being posted. Please send your name and module code. Okay. So let's follow the exam techniques. Let's go to the required. We paste through all the different information and we go to the required. Guys, this question that I posted here is the 2013 exam. It focuses specifically on assets. So up until this point, we've dealt with inventory and we've dealt with property, plant and equipment. Please make use of the one-on-one sessions if you guys are not comfortable with those topics. The one-on-one consultation sessions are really beneficial if you make use of it. There you have the opportunity to explain exactly what it is that you are struggling with, and I can try and in many ways explain until you understand and grasp the concept. Let me just quickly open the right question here. That's the wrong question. Excel, where did I put the question now? That's the right question, sorry guys. May, June 2013. Let's go to the required section first. Okay, so it's say prepare the asset section of the statement of financial position, not any other section, the asset section. As at 30 June 2012, in compliance with the requirements of the Companies Act and International Financial Reporting Standards. Okay, that's part A. Part B, prepare only the property, plant and equipment note in the financial statements of Joker Limited as at 30 June 2012, in compliance with the requirements of the Companies Act and International Financial Reporting Standards. The total column of the property, plant and equipment note is not required. Guys, this is extremely important. And you know what? We mark these papers and you won't believe how many students actually do the things they are told not to do. And then we and I'm including myself here, then we complain that we don't finish an exam. I'm telling you these things because I've done it as well. I used to be a student as well. So these things you do under exam stress, you really, your focus shift, your mind prioritizes things and you don't focus on certain stuff that's actually very important. So this question only has two parts to it. It doesn't ask for calculations, although it's very important, and it doesn't ask for anything else. It asks for the asset section and it asks for the property, plant and equipment note. And for that, you get 22 marks. If I have my it's right, 27 marks just for those two. So before you read the information, all these points 4 and 5, let's go to the information at the top. Pay attention to the date. Let's just go to the required again. They say they want these items for 30 June 2012. 30 June 2012. What they want and for when they want it. Now let's go to the question at the top. Here they tell us the following balances were extracted from the accounting records of Joker Limited on 30 June 2012. We already know what they want. They want the asset section and the notes to the financial statements, only the property, plant and equipment note. Now let's start with that. And this is something that if someone wakes you in the middle of the night, you need to be able to do the skeleton of any financial statement, the basic items you need to do. Okay, so name very important, Joker Limited. Type here, asset class question 1. So, Joker Limited. Statement of financial position as at 30 June 2012. Guys, and if you see me doing something that you don't understand, please ask a question. I can make a mistake. I'm presenting and I'm explaining and doing everything at the same time. So making a mistake is extremely easy. And it's 8 o'clock in the evening. So please participate. Don't be afraid to ask if something is right or where do I get that. I can make mistakes. So they ask for the asset section. So asset. The asset section consists out of two parts. The non-current assets and without having looked at the information, we know that what is the main thing that can usually be in your asset section. We know property, plant and equipment must be there because they're asking for the note. Property, plant and equipment. Let's go look in the information if there's anything else that might be separate. Land will be part of property, plant and equipment. Buildings, property, plant and equipment, same as machinery, furniture, and then accumulated depreciation will also be part of that. Bank overdraft is a liability. Trade and other receivables is a current asset. So let's, in the exam, leave maybe 2 more spaces open. Current assets. Trade and other receivables. Trade and other. Don't be scared to use space in your exam. Get the skeleton out of your head and you know that it's only now a case of completing the format. Then you already have a structure in your mind and you're not going to fall around doing this and then stopping and then doing that. Have a picture in your mind of what it is that the answer must look like. what the answer must look like. Inventory, provision for credit losses, very important, provision for credit losses. Bad debts, trade and other receivables, it affects. So those two are linked. So on your question paper, you should already link those two. Okay, so those two amounts. Okay, and then investments. That's another non-current asset, investments. And that is all I can see. Leave a few lines open and you can say total assets. And you know that the total asset should have the total right about there. Okay, and there that layout is done. Now the second part also has needs to look a certain way. So you will say the name is notes to the financial of Joker Limited as at 30 June 2012. And the note that I want to make is property, or prepare as property, plant and equipment. What does this note look like? It has a beginning, a middle, and an end in basic terms. So we will start always with the carry amount, because the carry amount is the amount that is displayed in that line. It's always the carry amount. So we will start with the opening carry amount. How did we get to the opening carry amount? Well, we had opening cost and opening accumulated depreciation. Then we have movements for the year. Movements for the year can be additions. We don't know what the information holds. It can be disposals. I can buy, I can sell, and I can calculate depreciation. Those are the three main items that can affect movements during the year. I can also have revaluation. Okay. Then I have my closing carry amount. My closing cost and my closing accumulated depreciation. Okay. What assets do we have? Let's go to the information. We have land, we have buildings, and we have machinery, and we have furniture. So we have 4 assets, 4 categories. So let's go put headings in. We have land, we have buildings, we have, what was the other one? Machinery and furniture. Machinery and furniture and fittings. Let's say furniture and equipment. So there we have the layout of our question. It's done. The rest is calculations. Now you go to the information. Can you guys see how your answer is now structured? And it didn't take up additional time because you should have done it in any case. at some point in your approach, you should have written down that format in any case. So do it in the beginning and you have a template. Okay. Additional information. The following information relating to land, buildings and machinery is available. All of the machinery were bought on 31 August. Keyword, all. All of the machinery were bought on 31 August 2010 for 1.9 million. Installation costs amounted to 140,000. The company provides for depreciation on machinery at 20% per annum, according to the reducing balance method. During the current financial year, all machinery were withdrawn from production process for a period of 6 months and used in the construction of the entity's buildings. No other purchase or sales transactions of machinery took place during the current financial year. The following direct costs in respect of the construction of the buildings were debited against buildings. So there was labor and raw material. So we know we have additions to buildings in the current year. The 6 months that the asset was, just a question. So let's focus on machinery. The 6 months that the machinery was, all of the machinery were withdrawn to assist in the building of all the construction of the buildings. That 6 months, what should happen with that 6 months depreciation?
Doesn't it need to be deducted from the added to?
Let's say again, Ms. Broderick.
Sorry, I was saying, doesn't it have to be deducted from depreciation on machinery and then added to the depreciation for buildings?
You're heading in the right direction, but not entirely. You have an yes. Let's play with that idea. Why? Let me ask this question. Why add it to the depreciation of buildings?
Because it was used for the building of the buildings.
You see, that part you are 100% correct. But why do you choose? And this is just an open question to anyone else that's thinking like this. I don't think this is a discussion. Why? So it is for the buildings. There I'm 100% with you. Why do you say depreciation though? Because why I'm asking that is, if you think about, we are still building the buildings, and buildings will only start to be depreciated once it is in use. Remember what the statement IAS 16 say about depreciation? The moment that an asset is ready to be used in the way intended by management, we immediately start depreciation. So yes, including it in the building's cost is definitely accurate, but include it in the cost, not the depreciation. So for that 6 months, we capitalize.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Because the statement says any cost or all costs incurred to bring an asset in the condition, or in the condition to be used by management in the way intended, should be capitalized. And okay, once that has happened, and the machine is ready to be used, then we start depreciation. So while it is still being built and we incurred depreciation on a machine, that depreciation can be capitalized and should not be expensed. But that machinery is still being depreciated, so that's the first important thing to note. The machinery will still be depreciated, but that specific 6 months will go to the capitalization of that asset. If that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, I understand.
Let me see if I've lost. Okay. So to explain the accounting treatment there a bit more. So we have the machinery, and we say machinery is worth, everything was bought on the 31st of August 2010. Let's go to the information. So they weren't bought in the current year, if I'm not mistaken. They weren't bought in the current year. So machinery had a carry amount of 1.7 in the beginning. So we can say the opening carry amount was 1.7 million. And the depreciation rate is 20%. So we don't have to go and deduct the accumulated depreciation. They already tell us what the carry amount is. So we can already say that the depreciation for the year should be 20%, and that should be the depreciation. But it's not done yet. I've written that better. So the depreciation for the year is 340,000. Everybody happy with that? But,
yes.
Yes, but should it all be expensed?
Are we not supposed to remove the other 6 months since we didn't use the machinery for 6 months?
You are 100% correct, but it doesn't mean the machinery didn't go down in value. So it's all about, remember, depreciation usually has got two legs. We take it to the expense, and we take it to the accumulated depreciation, which goes to the statement of financial position. Happy? Tendai?
Yes. Happy.
Okay, yeah, so that's how it usually works. But in this specific instance, we cannot expense the entire 340,000 because a certain part of it was used to build the buildings. So we are going to say we are going to capitalize six over 12 months, and we are going to expense 6 over 12 months. So I know they didn't ask this, but since everything in accounting needs to balance, if this capitalization wasn't part of this question, what would our journals have been? The journals would have been depreciation and accumulated depreciation. 340,000 and 340,000. Happy?
Yes.
With capitalization, though, we must now say buildings depreciation and accumulated depreciation. So accumulated depreciation will still get the full 340 because that machinery is still losing value, correct? But in terms of determining our company's profit, only 170 should go through the income statement and 170 should go to the buildings. Always remember this: assets, equity, liability, income, and expenses. Plus, minus, 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 plus, minus, plus, 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 minus. Buildings is an asset, must be debited. Depreciation is an expense, must be debited. Any questions on what we've done here?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so now we can already go to our machinery. Let's quickly look at our machinery. Where's my machinery now? Where's my Excel? Okay, got it. Okay, so in this note, sorry for the scrolling. So in this note, I will go and I will say depreciation, go to machinery, and I will say minus what will I minus?
170,000.
Minus 170,000. Because the other 170,000 will be included
At buildings.
Exactly. But remember, this is the note. Okay. So to make sure, and this is something very important because this is where the disclosure is different than what you are used to. We have to put in a line here and we have to say depreciation capitalized.
Oh, okay.
We say 170 under buildings. $170 and again minus 170 because the depreciation for this building, I'm not talking about the expense, the depreciation for this building was 340,000. The accumulated depreciation for this building, for this machinery, sorry, will increase with 340,000. It is only the treatment in the statement of comprehensive income, the income statement, where only 170 will be part. So that's why we say in the depreciation line 170,000. That's what's going to the income statement, and then we say depreciation capitalized, and we plus it to buildings, and we minus it in machinery. Everybody happy? Because remember, if I take opening accumulated depreciation plus my depreciation for the current year, I must arrive at my closing accumulated depreciation. So if I don't disclose it like that, I won't get to the correct answer. So that is the line that goes to the income statement, and that is the line that goes to the financial position. Okay.
Nice.
Let's move on. Let's look at buildings. I will send you guys these notes after class. If you are part of the WhatsApp group, you will get the notes. So let's look at buildings. We want to know what the additions are. Uwetu, your hand is up. I just saw it by accident. If you guys want to ask a question, you guys can really just unmute and ask. I don't mind at all. Uwetu, do you have a question? Your mic is mute indeed if you are talking. Okay. So buildings, what is included under additions? We have the raw material and we have the labor. Raw material.
Sorry.
Yes, Soweto.
I wanted to ask if I can be added on the WhatsApp group, please.
100%, guys. If you want to be added to the WhatsApp group, you guys can just check in the chat section. The number is there. Just send me your name and your module code, guys. Okay. And then please, very important, please post your student number in the chat section. And guys, please sign the attendance register. It's affecting the statistics if you don't sign the attendance register. So those two things are very important: the attendance register and your student number.
Do we send out details to the WhatsApp number?
Yes, your name and module code if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Yes. 100%. That's not a UNISA number. That is a number that I use for UNISA. So it's not a call number or anything. It's literally just a SIM card that is used for WhatsApp for UNISA purposes. But then if I can't attend class, for instance, I'll be the one that posts on that group, and Adele will send out emails. So you will get the communication just more effectively if you are part of that group. Okay, so raw materials and labor. So we have labor is 675. And raw material was 975. But that wasn't all. We also capitalized. We also capitalized depreciation of 170,000. So what's the total cost?
$1,820,000.
Thank you. And the depreciation rate is Do we know what the depreciation rate is?
2%.
There we have 2% per annum according to the straight line method. So we don't need to know in following years, we don't need to know what the accumulated depreciation is. Okay, that's that at 2%, but only for
6 months. 182,000.
100%, thanks. Depreciation. And there we have information that needs to go to our note. So let's go to the note. Additions under buildings was the 675. Is there a question?
Just a second. The depreciation, shouldn't it be 18,200?
I can quickly recalculate for you. Yep, you are 100% right.
Thank you.
$18,200. There were no disposals. So it's minus 18,200. Okay. No revaluations in that information. So let's carry on. 1.3. On 29 June 2012, the land was revalued at market value for 1.1 million by Reiner Horn, a sworn appraiser. 1.1 million. Let's go to the information. Let's see what land was. It was 900. Let's go to the information and we say land 900. So we're revaluing it to 1.1 million. So that means increases with
Of 200,000.
100.
increases with 200,000.
Correct.
Okay. No, 1.3 we've done. Number 2. On 30 April 2012, furniture and equipment with an original cost price of 19,000 and an accumulated depreciation on the 1st of July 2011 of 40,000 were traded in at a loss of 6,900 as part payment of new equipment with a cost price of 75,000. Okay, here we are going to do some work together. But please pay attention to what I'm asking. Please calculate for me, or where to? Okay, so calculate for me the first part where they say on 30 April 2012, furniture and equipment with an original cost price of 90,000 and an accumulated depreciation on 1st of July 2011 of 40,000. It was traded in for a loss of 69,000 as part payment of new equipment with a cost price of 75,000. Please calculate for me what the payment was. What did we sell that furniture for? So please calculate the depreciation and the carry amount at the date of sale. Depreciation, carry amount, and the amount that we sold it for. So I'm going to make a note of that. And I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes to please complete that for me. So it's let me just write it down, of the sold equipment. Please calculate the depreciation, the carry amount at the date of sale, and the proceeds. Wie praat jy? Hallo. Sorry, guys, if you've got the answer to those 3 questions, you can just put your hand up, raise your hand, and then I can get an indication of who has done and who not. I'm going to give another 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, so please raise your hand, or if you feel like you can't do the question, that's not a problem. That's why we are all here to assist. Also raise your hand, then I have an indication that I can continue. Guys, does anyone want another minute or two? You're free to ask. Going, gone. Okay, let's quickly have a look. Okay, so the depreciation rate of the equipment is 25% straight line method. So there's no reducing balance method that we need to be concerned about. Okay, so the asset that was disposed of originally cost 90,000. So equal 90,000. Okay, at 25% times 10 over 12 months, if I'm correct. And that answer I get is 18,750. So that's the depreciation. So the carry amount will be the 90,000 less the accumulated 40,000 at the beginning of the year minus this year's 18,750. So the carry amount at date of sale equaled 31,250. So that's the carry amount. Anything that we receive in excess of that amount will be a profit. Anything that we receive lower than that amount will be a loss. So the loss equals 31,250 minus, what did they say? 6,900. So what was the proceeds? Tendai, do you have an answer for me?
Yes. 24,350.
Perfect. So that was the loss. So this is the original cost of the sold asset. Okay. Now let's continue with the remaining assets. Under this point, we had a new asset. Guys, just a note. If you guys want to be part of the WhatsApp group, you must send me a WhatsApp to that number. So don't comment in the in the chat section, because then I'm not gonna know about it. So if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group, please send me your name and module code to that WhatsApp number. Okay. So the remaining assets, so we bought a new asset for 75,000. And that 75,000 rand asset we only had for 2 months. So it's 75,000 at 25% times 2 over 12. And if my calculations are correct, I get 3,125. So total depreciation for furniture and equipment equals 31,250 plus 3,125, and that equals 5,000.
34375.
Thank you. 34.
375.
Okay, so that is for the sold and new. But what about the other assets? Because if you go to the information and you look at furniture and equipment, we still have 300,000. And that is as at 1 July 2011. So whatever happened in the current year did not yet affect that balance. So we need to take, if we look at the old assets, if I can call them that, the balance is 300,000. We don't have to add the new asset because we've already taken care of that asset. But what we should remove is the sold asset. Agreed?
Yeah.
So what was the value of the sold asset?
$31,250.
Okay, wait. I'm talking nonsense. That's the balance, the carry amount. What is the method for this? What is the method for this class of asset? Straight line. Do we work with the carry amount? Do we work with the carry amount in the straight line? No. So we need to add back the accumulated depreciation. Accumulated depreciation of 170. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
So that means it is 470,000. Now I can say remove the sold asset because I've worked with that asset separately. And that asset had a carry amount of 90,000 as well as the accumulated depreciation
40,000.
of 40,000. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
What will be my remaining balance then?
$340,000.
I'm just putting it in there, cost. So if you guys look at it later, that you can remember why we did that. What was that answer? Was
40,000.
And that 340,000 we had for the full year.
Correct.
At 25%.
85,000.
So that means depreciation is the 85,000 plus the 34.
375.
And that equals
19375.
119.
119.
Sorry, 119375. Okay. Everybody happy with why we did that and how we got to that?
Yes.
I just want to make sure we didn't make a mistake. Guys, we made a mistake here, sorry. That 90,000 wasn't the carry amount, it was the cost price.
Yeah.
The cost price was 90. $380 times 25 is then 95.
90.
So the depreciation should be the 18,750. Everybody got that? The 18,750.
Yes.
So not. Don't know why we did that. Then we add those two together, get 21,875. If my maths is correct, I get 116875. Everybody happy with that?
Yes, I am.
See, that's why I say I love it when you guys participate. I'm not a computer on this side. At 8:45 in the evening, if you've started your day at 7 in the morning, you can make mistakes as well. So thanks for the participation. I appreciate it. So depreciation, 95,000 for the remaining assets, 21,875 for the assets that were sold and bought. So we have a total depreciation for furniture and fitting of 116,875. Let's go to our format and let's go slot that in. Minus 116,875. And let's also fill in the rest. We bought a new machine or furniture and equipment.
Sorry, 875.
Thanks. Additions is 75,000 if I remember correctly. And always remember when you work with your disposals, you always work with carry amount. The carry amount of the asset that was sold, and that amount was minus 31250. If you didn't know that, or if you've forgotten about that, please make a note. If you have your disposals in your note, it's always the carry amount that you take to that line. Okay. Depreciation capitalized, nothing would be, there's nothing there for that. Okay, I think that's it. Okay. And then we start with inventory. So let's finish off equipment, property, plant and equipment. Let's go to our note. Let's put in all the opening costs and opening balances. Buildings at cost was nothing because we built it this year. No accumulated depreciation. Machinery opened at 2040 and had an accumulated depreciation of minus 340. Equipment opened with 470,000 as we've calculated and minus the depreciation of 170,000. Then we should be able to calculate the closing cost. For land, it should be the 90 plus the 200 because we're working with the revaluation. There's no accumulated depreciation. Everybody happy with that? Closing cost for buildings, it should equal the movements.
Yes.
Agreed?
Agreed.
It should equal that plus that. And the accumulated depreciation must equal that. So the movements will equal the closing carry amount. So then we get to machinery. The cost should be the opening cost plus any additions minus any disposals and plus any revaluations. So that should be the cost. The closing carry amount or accumulated depreciation should be the opening accumulated depreciation plus the depreciations calculated in the year together with the capitalized one. Remember, both those amounts are depreciation. The one is just going to the income statement and the other one is going to the statement of financial position, the balance sheet. Closing cost for furniture and equipment will be the opening cost plus disposals, but be very careful here, plus additions, but be very careful with disposals. Remember, we must work with the cost. What was the cost of that asset that we sold?
90,000.
It was 90,000.
100%. Then we should work with the accumulated depreciation. So it's 170 plus the depreciation for the year minus all the accumulated depreciation for the assets sold. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we're going to say here total accumulated depreciation equals the 40 and the current year. $58,750. Guys happy?
Yes.
So minus 58, or rather let's don't get confused now. I'm saying plus. Remember, those figures are negatives, so I'm actually adding to the other side. 58715, and that should be the new carry amount. If you add that and that, you should get to the same value. So 300 minus 73,125 will also give you the closing carry amount. Okay. And there we've done that note. So what must go to the face of the financial statements, the property, plant and equipment, will be the total of the carry amounts, the closing carry amounts. Let's go to back to the question. Let's quickly look at number 3. Inventory consisted of the following on 30 June 2012. Raw material at cost, finished goods at cost, and work in progress at cost. Okay. Due to the current weak economic situation, the net realizable value of the finished goods at year end was 8% lower than the cost price thereof. What does the accounting principle say? Must be shown at the lower of cost or net realizable value. What is the NRV? So it's the finished goods times 92%. And that equals 368,000.
Yes.
So then we say it is the raw material, the finished goods, the raw material was 180,000, and then the work in progress, process, 175. And that value?
Sorry, I think the screen is a little bit stuck now because we're still on the question paper.
Sorry, guys.
Thanks.
So inventory, we say, must be shown at the lower of cost or net realizable value. So the net realizable value of finished goods is 400,000 times 92%.
That's correct.
So then we say inventory is then raw material, finished goods at NRV, and work in progress. Can you guys give me the total then?
723,000.
100%. And that is inventory. So let's go to the format and we go to inventory and we say 723. So here's the good part. If you calculated that 723 incorrectly, you will still get your marks for the parts that you did calculate correct, as well as transferring that incorrectly calculated amount to the right place on the face of the financial statement of financial position. So when we go to the required part of the question and we go to this first 5 marks, you would have gotten your 5 marks. If you've transferred your incorrectly calculated amounts to the correct place on the face of the financial position, you still would have gotten your marks.
Okay.
So remember that. Get the marks that you can get. Let's go back to the information. Okay, so we're done with 3. And there they say it. Okay, now they say the provision for credit losses must increase to 53,000. And investment consists of the following.
Sorry,
Yes.
just a quick question. With the
Yes.
work in progress on 3.1, that
Yes.
6,000 that they state there in 3.1, why did we leave it out?
So they say, where am I now?
On 3.1.
Oh, 3.1. So they say due to the time we did that, lower than the cost thereof, while the net realizable value of raw materials and work in progress exceeded the cost thereof. Because per IAS 2 that deals with inventory, the accounting rule, the accounting principle, IAS 2, states that inventory must be shown at the lower of cost or net realizable value. So if you now read 3.1, let's take finished goods. They say finished goods, the NRV, the net realizable value, is 8% lower than the cost. So which one must we use, NRV or cost? Which is the lower?
Cost.
Okay.
For work in progress, it's cost.
For
And
work in
for-
progress and raw material, cost will be the lower.
Yes.
Tendai, did you ask the question? I can't remember who asked the question.
It was me, it was me.
Does that make sense, Tendai?
Yes, it does. Okay. All right.
So that is a principle. It is not there's nothing, you don't have to worry to understand anything. That is the accounting law. It says that to accurately account and measure inventory, we must value it at the lower of cost or NRV. So that sentence, that whole paragraph 3.1 gives us one of the items that is where the NRV is the lowest, and with the other two, their NRV is higher. So there you must know that based on that principle, we should use the lower instead of the higher.
All right. Thank you.
Guys, then I'm gonna ask you to participate again, please. I would like to finish this question. I hope you guys don't mind. Otherwise, we're gonna leave this question halfway. So if you guys can please participate in doing part 4 and 5. So meaning, if you can please calculate, let's go to this part for 4. Let's do 4 first. Calculate trade and other receivables. What should trade and other receivables be?
411.
So let's go to trade and other receivables. So there's a value per the information. And then you also have that value for credit losses in 53.
The trade and other receivables are 358,000.
Okay, so you must take so then the credit losses is adjusted to 53,000. And that gives you 358. Then let's do number 5. Investments consists of the following. A total of 15,000 shares in Arrow Limited at a cost price of 45,000. These shares were acquired on the 1st of March 2012. The issued share capital, wait, I just want to say something here. The issued share capital of Arrow Limited consists of 22,000 shares of R3 each. The fair value of the investment remained unchanged at 30 June 2012. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes to calculate for me what the investment value would be. You can just raise your hand when you are done, and then I know I can move on. Okay, guys, this is just actually to test. your knowledge on financial instruments. Remember, this is a investment that is bought for long-term investment. It's not bought for speculative purposes. In other words, any movement on the value will go through profit and loss, but the cost will always stay the same. So it will stay 45. Let me just go back to my. It will stay 45. Information, if I put that correctly now.
So, sorry, what happens
Yes.
to the other 22,000 shares that they have?
Now they say these shares were acquired on the 1st of March 2012. The issued share capital of Arrow Limited consists of, remember, the issued share capital of Arrow Limited consists of 22,000 shares. It is not ours, it's Arrow's.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, obviously. Okay, sorry.
We only deal with the, no problem, we only deal with the 45.
Okay.
So we have total.
Sorry, Charles. Can I have the link for the register? The weather is bad on my site.
100%. Quickly get the link. Guys, before you go, I know some of you need to go. There's an evaluation form as well. We would really like to know what you guys think of the session, what we can do better, if we should continue with it like this. So please make use of that evaluation form. We would appreciate the feedback. I've posted the evaluation form and the register in the in the chat section. Okay, so trade and other, so 45,000. Trade and other receivables, we calculated as 358.
Yes.
And there we have our final answer. Any questions, guys? What part of would you guys like me to explain a bit more?
I personally think I would need some more time on the actual investment section.
100%. If you would like a one-on-one session on it, please just send your details to the WhatsApp group, and please make sure that you find the link on the email that was sent by Eunice.
Okay,
as
perfect.
well.
Thank you.
Guys, before you go, please do the evaluation form and the attendance register. I would really appreciate that. And then please ask more questions, guys. You guys are here, so the question is still on. If there's anything that you would like me to explain, I would gladly explain.
Hi, Mark. Just a quick one, man. Charles,
100%.
sorry. Yes. Do we get any marks for the calculations?
Yes, definitely. No, you definitely. So don't think you're not getting any marks. All I'm saying is that where you've calculated something incorrect, you will lose your mark at the calculation. But what most students do is that they forget what the question actually asked. The question asked the note, for instance. So now you calculate depreciation, but you calculate it incorrectly. You know it's incorrect in the exam, and then you don't do anything further with it. Whereas if you transferred that incorrectly calculated depreciation to the face of the required of the note, you'd have gotten your mark.
Thank you, man.
So very important. Always make sure that that's why when I started this question, you know what they are asking is not actually what they're asking. They are actually asking the calculations, but they're testing that you can do the disclosure as well. So most of the marks will obviously be assigned to your calculations, but a massive chunk will also go to your accurate disclosure of your assets and especially your property, plant and equipment. So even in the exam, if you think you've calculated depreciation or additions incorrectly, just ensure that you take that, whatever you think is incorrectly calculated, and take that exact amount and go put it in the face of your answer. Otherwise, you will lose the mark, because then they don't know where you got that amount from. So make sure that you take the calculated amount, whether correct or incorrect, and you've placed it in to the format. That's extremely important. Any more questions, guys? Ms. Broderick, I can't hear you. It seems like you're talking, but I can't hear anything you're saying. Guys, are there any more questions? Okay, I'm still here. I'm just muting my mic, and I'm preparing the.
Hi,
Guys,
Mark.
please. Hi.
Charles. Sorry, man.
Yeah.
I don't know how to ask this question, but I just need maybe if there is any trick that you can give us, like in exam. For example, on the information that is given there at the end of the year, sometimes they will talk about office buildings at cost or at carrying amount.
Yes.
You know, is there any figure that, for example, we can just take directly and we'll slot it in there in the PPE?
No, not really. The thing is, and this is what will make it easy for you as you do questions. The moment that you understand why these amounts are in this line in the first place, you never have to think about it again, because you will immediately know if I say carry amount, I'm talking about a figure after accumulated depreciation has been deducted. If I talk about accumulated depreciation, when am I talking about it? Is it the beginning of the year figure, because then it doesn't contain the current year's depreciation? Is it the end of the year, because then current year depreciation has already been taken into account unless the question states otherwise? So that's the way you need to think about it, because unfortunately in the exam, exactly like they did with this one, where they said with furniture and equipment, they gave you the carry amount, but then they say the depreciation method is the straight line method. And we all we all know that the straight line method doesn't work with the carry amount. So under exam stress, we would probably have taken the 300 and not worked back to the cost of 470 that wasn't given.
Okay.
So it's very that is extremely important, but that is where the format is very important, because if you had this format, if you calculated it wrong in your if you made a mistake in your calculations and you suddenly see cost here, you would have remembered, but oops, you might have made a mistake in the calculations, then you can go and correct it. But if you didn't understand the format or this layout, and this layout wasn't engraved in your mind, then you would have made a mistake. So that's why it's very important to understand this format. And before you start your question, draw a skeleton in which you can fill in all these amounts.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Charles. When you send the notes of what we did, are you also gonna send us the question as well?
Yes, I'll send you guys the question and the answers.
Okay.
So guys, I'm still here. If you got any more questions, I'm going to wait another 2 minutes and then I will add the new people to the group. So remember, if you...
Sorry, I think Broderick was asking something. I don't know if you saw a message in the...
Oh, I saw. I'm asking about the online exam. Will it be written and then uploaded to the exam portal, or will it only be... No, I can... Okay, I don't want to comment. I haven't seen it. But I will be extremely surprised if it's a multiple choice question. This isn't a multiple choice question module, but that's my opinion. I've never seen it in a multiple choice question format. So if my guess is as good as yours, if I'm forced to give an answer, I would have said definitely you will write it and then upload it. But if I can maybe give a suggestion, there is maybe send an email to the lecturers. The information is provided. The information is provided in the study guides. So send it there and see what they respond. So guys, please send me your name and the module code. I would like to distribute the notes within the next half an hour. So I'll wait up until 10 o'clock and then I'll distribute the notes.
Sorry, sir. I wanted to ask which other modules do you have a WhatsApp group for?
MIC 2601 and 3701, MIC 2602 and 3702, then the auditing modules, AUE 3701, 3702, third year, and then FAC 2601, 2602, and FAC 3703. But if that was too quick, you can just send me a WhatsApp and ask what other modules, and I'll reply that to you as well.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem. Pleasure. Thanks, guys. You must have a lovely evening. I'm going to be logging off. If you have any other questions, please feel free to send it via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is in the chat section. Enjoy your evening, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.